Hello everyone, this is Sushant. I'm a serial entrepreneur, the founder and CEO of DhanXpert, and with me I have a multifaceted personality in our office today, Mrs. Dr. Sangeeta Roychaudhuri.
Thank you.
Right, pleasure to have you in our office today.
Pleasure to be on your show as well, and the beautiful office. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Likewise, thank you so much. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about a few different topics, something personal around her personal achievements, something around finances, because she's very good in finance and she manages the wealth for HNIs and Ultra HNIs in India. And thereafter, we're going to talk about women empowerment, entrepreneurship, and guidance to the society. So here we start. Ready for the first question?
Absolutely.
Okay. Because it's a great personality, I had to do a lot of research for that, and I jotted down a bunch of questions so that I do not miss out on any of them. Right, so let's focus on the first part,
Sure.
which is your journey and your achievements. Right, so winning Mrs. Asia 2023. Right, how was this overall experience for you? Right, that's the first thing, and just a follow up to that, how this impacted your life?
That's a great question. So, I think that willingness to be on a global platform represent your country has been a childhood dream. I think I was in the 7th or 8th grade when I saw Sushmita Sen winning that Mrs. Universe. So that became a bucket list that someday I'll be able to do it. But hailing from a very traditional orthodox family, you did not get that platform. So okay, I worked hard. I kind of wanted to tick all my bucket one by one, and the opportunity came. And then I was very lucky that I was able to tick the bucket which I've been dreaming since I was a child, and it's been a fantastic experience. I think life is more about experience you gather than what experience life throws at you. You have to keep challenging your status quo. You have to keep going for your dream. The moment you push your boundary, many facet opens up, and that has opened up. I think I'm very lucky that I won the title for the country, and it's been a phenomenal journey. I think if you talk about the journey of Mrs. Asia India, the hurdle I've gone through, what I have gone through, over the challenges, and after that winning that itself is a life episode by in itself. So
exactly, because see, Miss versus Mrs., there is a big transformation in between both of them. As a Miss, you are very young, you are just out of the college, your academics are still going on, right? Your hormones are thriving. And when it comes to Mrs. India, right, and above, representing the nation, being a wife, being an entrepreneur, a working woman, being a mother, there are tons of responsibilities, right? And thereafter doing all this is certainly not a joke.
Yeah, I think there's a saying that for every successful man there is a woman. I think for every successful woman there is a progressive man behind, and I think I owe a lot to Rajiv, who's sort of been thick and thin. I remember I wanted to, after I completed 10 years in corporate journey, I wanted to go to one of the dream university, Berkeley, Stanford, Harvard, which I had again in the bucket list of childhood.
Correct.
And which did not happen. It kind of, parents were not comfortable sending you out of country, okay, get married, have children. But I worked for 10 years. When my child was 5 years old, that's the time I went to Berkeley, did an MBA and came back to India, right? So it is very important to have a progressive husband and a very supportive family. So I think without that, for a woman who has to multitask multiple facets, they need to have the strong support system. I've been very lucky. I've got great parental support, amazing in-laws support, and my son has seen me from childhood that I've been going out and out. So he became independent that way, and he also brought in that value system that you need to support each other. So I think to do it by you don't teach your child by saying it, but by executing, by action, right?
Show it by action.
So I think the entire society, your inner circle have been very supportive to be able to pursue whatever I wanted to pursue, and I'm grateful that I belong to that one of the such supportive family who gave me that shelter.
Kudos to your parents, your in-laws, and to Rajiv and your son as well.
Thank you so much.
Right, and all the efforts that you have put in.
Thank you.
Right. So how this impacted your life after winning the title?
I was literally on the cloud nine. I remember when I landed in Pune airport, there's a paparazzi in front of me trying to cover my story. So it felt like a dream come true. I pinched myself, did I dream? And no, I was awake and experiencing that. So suddenly what happened now, that opened so many new opportunity. This one thing of Mrs. Asia, that kind of created a different niche in my life. I remember the owner of Femina Miss India, was run by Sheetal Biani. She hosted a felicitation for me in Pune, and every entrepreneur, every industrialist, every celebrity was part of the celebration.
Wonderful.
And I kind of got to interact with who's who of the country, literally. That opened up a new opportunity for me. People say that you become the fifth person, with the fourth person you spend most of your time.
Correct. That's
right?
true.
So their dream, their vision, you talk in the same wavelength. So
exactly.
That circle kind of gave me a little, reason for challenging my status quo, reason for stretching my boundary, reason for me to take up new challenges. So I think that gave a huge opportunity. And I remember in my hometown, literally, Calcutta also created, made a felicitation ceremony for me, because it was Bengal girl who represented the country and won the crown. So I remember I landed in Calcutta airport with a big hoarding, the newspaper I grown up reading, the Telegraph newspaper, the full page coverage about me. I've literally started getting calls from the college buddies, school buddies, Sangeeta, I saw you on the newspaper. So it felt like really, something which you have been dreaming that has come true. But that kind of shaken my entire, world. I think it gave me a lot more reason to do something more. It gave me a lot more inspiration that I have become a role model for those ladies who are behind the small little circle of their home boundary. People came up to me after that. I remember so many Instagram message was poured that, I want to live that light, can you help? So if you become the reason for changing 1, 2, 3 life, I think there's a purpose to it. So I found a lot of meaningful purpose after winning the crown.
Congratulations.
Thank you
for your win. And you keep on inspiring others.
Thank you so much.
Right. You trust upon the brand name and try to invest, but end of the day, do you really trust that brand, or are you trusting the person who has come to you and who is actually selling you or trying to help you do the right investment? It's a tricky question.
I somehow feel if it's my money, let's look at it from our own money. If I'm working with you, you have been my investment advisor for last 20 years. Whether you are in Berkeley's or Deutsche or wherever it is you I have invested. So most of the time when you see a sales manager move, the client also moves with them, because money is very, very sacred thing, and you don't trust people easily.
Exactly.
It takes years of experience to trust somebody. If you trust somebody and if you do not give up the trust, I think you won the client for lifetime. So the relationship plays a very important role here. Of course, if you don't have the technical knowledge and technical know-how, only based on the relationship, you can take it from here to here. But from here to here, you require that technical expertise as well. But money matter, it is important, a blend of both, technical analysis and the trust factor. So if you can create the trust factor, I think you won the game.
So if you remember the question we were discussing before our podcast recording during our lunch about the trust factor, money is pretty handled between the trustworthy people. How will DhanXpert make money?
Right.
How will people, right? And this is the problem we are trying to solve in DhanXpert, because DhanXpert is going to onboard only those advisors whom we are going to verify their Aadhaar, their PAN, their credentials. It may be with respect to RIA, SEBI or IRDA. Okay, their locations in terms of where their office is, their house is, so that people who are going to search and seek advices from them know that these profiles are authentic and validated. That is the first part. Second part, you said just now, people move from one organization to other organization, right? And then if a manager moves, he takes along the team as well.
Right.
When the team goes, the wealth moves from one bank to the other bank. Right. In this entire thing across the world, not just India, have you seen, you are a financial expert yourself, have you seen that you have an identity which talks about your success? You as a professional, you have a LinkedIn profile, but that does not talk about your true biodata from your investment perspective. Okay. Hey, this is Dr. Sangeeta Roychaudhuri, and this is my AUM. These many number of customers I have. These are my happy customers. Not all customers are happy. There are always ups and downs, but this is a business or a profession. This is not a business. This is more of a profession, like a doctor, right? Do you I'll try to correlate this with a doctor's case. My family doctor is, we have been going to them for decades, right? After my last treatment, if I'm not feeling well, I still go to them. I talk to them, right? What do they do? He'll try to diagnose and ask me to do some more reports and recommend me to the appropriate expert. Is it an eye problem? Is it a gastro problem? Is it a skin problem? So he'll be still a point of contact for me. That my MD physician, right? In the same way the finance people will be, right? And the same story is with you. In whatever I know, the big names from Pune city who are well connected with you, right? You are like a Spock for them, right? They will always seek your advice and then they'll take it forward. So this gap is something what we are trying to solve by building this entire ecosystem.
So this looks very brilliant.
It's not just one connect, but there are going to be like 100 different benefits for entire retail investors, Aam Aadmi India ke, as well as all the type of different financial advisors in India.
I think you actually identified a very deep problem, and if you can really put the both ends meet, it can be a...
Yeah, we need blessings from people like you and a guidance and mentorship.
Sure, absolutely.
Right, thank you. I'm building DhanXpert. DhanXpert मैं पूरी इंडिया के लिए बना रहा हूँ. Especially for the entire youth community. You see, at the time of our parents, things were slow. People used to go to work. They had time to read. Investment advice was pretty less. Investment awareness and knowledge was pretty less. Options were less. Newspaper was the only thing people used to refer to. And there were certain communities who used to invest in businesses, right? Bengali communities, Marathi communities, typical many Kannada communities, then they never participated in these type of investments. Now the knowledge is on the tip of fingers. Right. So knowledge is there, right? And we are overburdened with the knowledge. And if you look at the today's young workforce, the Gen Zs and thereafter the millennials, look at their job cycles, their work cycles. They do not have a fixed work cycle. They are more outcome based, right? They work from home, they work from anywhere, but many times they are working. They're working from bus, train, car, cab, everywhere, right? And while doing all this kind of productive work to earn their hard-earned money, salary, right? I spoke to many of them, and they do have some good amount of knowledge around the stock markets, some other instruments as well. But they are still very less mature. I would not say immature, less mature. And they would not have that much amount of time to handle their personal portfolio and define some goals for them, right? So that's where people like you and other experts across the industry should be like a doctor to them, the money doctor, right? Who sits with them, right? In a normal medicine, people go to a doctor only when they are sick. But nowadays, people are also seeking advice from psychiatrists and psychologists, right? That mental wellness, that mind wellness is equally important, and that's how the money wellness is important. How much are we earning? What are the goals of our life, right? What do you mean by saving? Could you explain me the pyramid, not me, but for the audience, right? The pyramid of investment that we have, right? How do we protect? How do we preserve?
Sure. I think first of all, the platform is creating is a need of the hour, because the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, whatever is coming, they want to like to do it themselves. So the mindset shift has happened. So they need somebody. The reason people in the mid-aged prefer go through an advisor.
Correct.
So I think that 40% of Indian population is in that young, between 25 to 35, 20 to 35. So I think this can create a huge opportunity, because there's a gap there and we have not created a product line for the Gen Z. So your platform will have a huge impact in the young generation, because we're creating them. They will analyze, they'll decide, and they will choose and pick, and then finally the advisor also will get to. So they have the right decision making choice on them, and then they choose and pick and then get executed. So I think that's a fantastic platform. Coming for the pyramid of this, what I have noticed is that like a Maslow's structure, right? The basic needs, advanced needs. So the first layer of need, which is like 80% people are struggling, is that the daily basic, khana, kapra, makan and all of it. 90% people struggle with that. They think they will retire at 30, 40, 50, finally they retire at 60. Unfortunately, the data shows still 92% Indian are dependent on their children.
True.
Because nobody had calculated inflation. Today what cost me a idli of 100 rupees with a 6% inflation every 12 years it will become double. So if I am 40 and I'm able to manage my family within 1 lakh, if I retire at 50, I would require maybe 2.5 lakh. If I retire at 60, I'll require maybe 3.5, 4 lakh. Are we calculating inflation? No, we are not. And then we plan a retirement, and no wonder there are so many people are dependent.
Correct.
So you have to cut short. So very important when you create a financial pyramid, first the 70-30 rule. Whatever you earn, 30% keep it for your future. 70 you consume. You don't have to show off the society that I have a 4 BHK. It's okay to have a 2 BHK.
Absolutely.
But make sure you do not touch the 30%. And that 30% keep in a product which will beat inflation. Not the FDs, not the insurance, which will give you maybe par inflation or below inflation, which will beat. One of the best product, the plain vanilla product, which is multiplied return in mutual fund. People don't understand equity, so mutual fund can be a great way. So that 30% you park in the product which will beat inflation. Rule number 2, whatever you do in the pyramid, once the basic quotient is met, make sure that your next corpus which you're creating, right? After the basic retirement planning, then you go for the aspirational need. Yes, you have a plan. Okay, I have my daughter's marriage, I have my Rolls Royce to buy, I have this world tour to make. Create plans. So how the thing will be sorted when you write it down. The problem is that we do not plan.
Exactly.
Every resolution we come in the new year, we'll do everything. By 31st December, we're back in the same ground. So write down your goal. Break that up weekly, monthly, yearly, and create, because at the end of the day, you are the best judge of your life.
Correct.
Right? So if you have a goal of getting something, I wanted a UC Berkeley, that cost me 1 crore. I worked behind 5 years. How do I get to 1 crore? Okay, 50 lakh I'll get scholarship, 50 lakh I need bank funding. For getting 50 lakh bank funding, how much EMI I need to have? What is that I need to save? I worked backward 5 years. That gave me the funding of that 50 lakh. And that got me. So you plan it well. Nothing is like Greek and Latin. You can really make a huge difference. So just plan your pyramid. That 30% don't touch. Keep your basics. Simple living, high thinking. By just showing up something, getting into EMI too early is not needed.
Very, very true. Getting into EMI, getting into credit cards,
in fact,
weekly spends.
Unfortunately, you look at it, people here in young India everybody has a house, a car, a vacation loan. So you end up getting into the trap, right?
Exactly.
So instead of that, it's okay. Do it 2 years later. Once you have that initial corpus, it will give you sukoon. That's very critical.
Yeah. खुद का घर होना चाहिए, खुद की गाड़ी होनी चाहिए, सब खुद का होना चाहिए.
आजकल देखो, the biggest of the car company doesn't have a single car. Uber, right? I'm just saying.
Exactly.
So, I still have society called Blue Ridge where it is about 1.8 crore. How much rent I'm paying? 2%, 2.5%.
It's cheaper to stay like that.
Yeah, so it makes sense. So make your corpus grow. Make your money work harder than you do. If your money does not work harder when you sleep, that means you are not even investing.
Exactly.
So it is the thing. The white wonder, as per Warren Buffett, that compounding wonder. Put your money into compounding. While you sleep, let the money work harder than you. One fine day
I hope you guys now know why do I sleep. Right?
So the simple few principle you follow. I think for my audience, I'd like to give 5 advice, which I have principally followed and it worked wonder. You don't require any investment. Get a health insurance done.
Most important.
Very important, because we will not compromise our health. We'll go to the best of the hospital. Get a term plan done.
Exactly.
If you are the only earning member and you have 1 crore loan, get a 2 crore term plan. If you are getting it early, you will get as less as 12,000-15,000. If you're getting it late, maybe you'll go 35, 40, 50,000. But hardly with that, your family is protected.
Correct.
Okay. Once you do the third, get to 70-30 ratio. 30% of your income you start saving it into inflation adjusted. Simple mutual fund will do wonder.
Correct.
Fourth thing, what you do is that try to get an extra revenue income possible. Okay, when you're having a 9-to-5 job, do a podcast, do some YouTube, do something which is not contradictory to your current assignment.
Correct.
Even if you write a book, I'm an author, like I get some royalty. So keep doing. There's a lot of things what you're passionate about. Even do music class. I'm just saying, what you like, do something like build up extra income. And the last thing is that work on your dream, because
work on your dream. That's very important, guys.
Because once you know what is your dream is and how much you need, everything else will work backward to make it happen.
One question. Do you believe in affirmations and manifestations?
One of the best thing in life. I think your subconscious mind is a super conscious mind, a super powerful mind.
Uh-huh.
99% what happens during your sleep,
Uh-huh.
when you wake up, it kind of becomes a reality.
Uh-huh.
It's again like iceberg. What you're seeing when you're talking is 1% what you're seeing from our brain, but what we tell to our subconscious mind, that becomes a reality.
So do you write down affirmations on a daily
so for
basis?
me, I have 2 journals.
Mm-hmm.
I have a gratitude journal, I have a lie journal. Now you've never heard lie journal. Lies are, what is the lies I'm talking to myself? Like, okay, I am not good enough. So I cut that knot. I am not expert enough on giving financial aid. I cut that knot. I said, I am expert. I am good enough. So the constant quarrel you have it with yourself. So I cut that lie journal, whatever lie I've been telling to myself. And I write a gratitude journal every day. Today, what are the 3 things I'm grateful for? If you come to my home someday, I'll show the diary. Every year I have the diary.
I'll do
3
with
things.
it. Yeah.
And I'll never go to sleep without this tip. Being grateful opens up a lot of opportunity. Being resentful closes down a lot of scope. So the moment you give positive vibe to the world, now it comes back to you. So visualization is a very powerful manifestation.
Yes. Yes.
So if you think that you want to, because I've seen a lot of billionaires, thankfully, in my lifetime, and I've known them for 10, 15, 20 years. One of them, not quoting the name, he told me, Sangeeta, tu dekh lena, I'll be youngest billionaire in the country one day. And I've seen that happening because that young boy had the dream at the 20 years old, and 35, he became a billionaire. So it is the trust. It is the trust that one day I'll be there. And if you actually put that trust, and if you can keep the goal, it'll happen.
You keep the goal very hard, visualize it, and keep marching towards it.
So that's a visualization is one of the biggest manifestation of the world. Like, you can turn everything around, and I believe in that very powerfully. And
great.
The moment you're able to visualize, that means again you are the chosen one by the God who is making you go through that, because you have a vision and you'll make it happen that day.
Perfect. Thank you. So that's one more point for all of you to understand, right? It's important to have affirmations. I think I also practice manifestations. Think, visualize on what's good for you. बचपन से सपने देखना अच्छी बात है. Dreams are good and try to achieve. Think big, dream big, and try to achieve those. March towards it. मिलेगा नहीं मिलेगा, don't think about it, right? And most importantly, don't bring those no's and doubts in your communication. I have a practice since my childhood. Is whenever I start writing anything, even in the school textbook, whatever, or even on emails, avoid using negative statements. Try to put that thing in a positive way. Things will happen that way, right? Because it's physics. It's all around physics.
So true.
Little bit more about
quantum
finance.
physics. So
yes.
A child, when they grown up till the time they hit 6 years old, they have heard no word 10,538 times, something like that.
Oh my God.
So that's why before doing anything, they'll start having doubting. So sometimes they have to let them be and let them free.
Correct.
And sometimes we get pressurized, Many times it's very important. What is your feel that comes in the expression? Words are very dangerous once they go out. So have control on that if you can possibly. Because many times what happens is that what you talk to yourself, that actually becomes your reality. So if you talk negative, you will come out to be a very negative person. But it's okay. It's very important. Whoever you are, however you are, make sure to stick to what you believe. No matter how people are trying to shake you off, make your passion burn brighter than your fear. You will get there one day.
Wonderful. Thank you. Little bit again, back to finances. I think these are the most important points for today's communication. Something on different generation of investors. So I'll read out because it's a little big. So in relation to different generation of investors and different type of investors. So different generations, I mean to say Gen Zs and till the senior citizens. Okay. So financial pyramid you spoke about, right? The most important part is, who is this inheritance? Log lagta hai inheritance matlab only for the super rich. But who is this inheritance, succession and estate planning for?
Great. I think this is one of the very important matter, but has been highly ignored. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you believe how even in India there are 99% people don't write a will today?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm just
people
giving
don't
an example.
write. That's why I specifically jotted down this question. When I thought that you are coming today, this must be a great question because you are a champion in this matter, and we should have this because I've seen some friends and families going around that once somebody senior in the family passes out, right, and they don't know what is lying
So
lying
it's
behind.
very complicated. Just writing a simple will solve your problem. So today what happens is that if the children overseas or out of the city or country and suddenly parent passes away, they don't have any clue where it is and it becomes a nightmare for the children to manage it. Instead of that, you write a simple will. So I think succession is for everybody. At least you need to have a basic will in place. If you do not have a will in place, how does the succession happen? It goes as per your religion. So if you are a Hindu,
exactly.
It goes as per a Hindu Succession Act. And as per Hindu Succession Act, if a Hindu male dies, his property gets equally distributed between the mother, spouse and children. So whoever is the surviving part in the class 1 legal here. Okay, and then class 2, class 3. For the female are a little different. So if you really want to avoid all the confusion, how and what, just write a simple will and keep a beneficiary, keep an executor, things will be sorted. Consolidate everything under a will. And as per Indian Succession Act, will does not need to be registered. You can just write it in the normal A4 paper and then it's sort of valid. Okay. Now that's a very valid question. Who's that trust and ye for? So what I have spent a lot of time on the succession planning in the country, right? So I've worked with very large families. The moment the reason in the US trust is so popular, why it is not India? Because US have a succession taxes or estate taxes. So what happens if any person, after any person lifetime, typically estate taxes gets clicked in, which is not in India. It was there in India till 1980, it got abolished. Okay, that's why people do not find a reason to do it. Now, once you have a large sum amount of asset and you have families in different countries, it becomes extremely challenging to manage it through a will. So that is the time the private family trust comes into play. So who generally needs to create a trust? I have seen mainly 5 reasons people create a trust. One of the main reasons is asset protection. Today you have multiple business of the regulatory authority. You have guaranteed in many banks. So how do you protect your asset if something goes wrong? So that portion you move it to a trust, which is not attached to the bank loan, attached with the guarantee, etc. Right? One of the reasons people do trust structure is your future inheritance tax or estate tax if they come up. If there's the estate tax gets passed in India, typically maybe first 10 crore will be exempted. After that, anything will be taxed at per whatever 30-40%. So once you move it to the trust, typically it is a different entity. Okay, so you actually get rebate from the estate taxes. Third reason, if there's an old age parent or incapacitated parent, how they'll sign their own check. So you create a structure where there's a trustee who will manage everything on behalf of your parent and who you sort of look after them. Fourth case, marital discord. So in the country today, there is a lot of divorces are going place.
Yeah.
And for a large family, one divorce can take away 100,000 crores of the wealth, right? 50% of the wealth can go away with the divorce. So they create a structure and make the son and grandchildren the beneficiary, so that if the daughter-in-law stays in the marriage, they get the benefit out of it. If they stay out of the marriage, they cannot touch the property. Okay? And there is also special child. If there is a special child, trust becomes very necessary. So this is the 4. And if you have children overseas in the US, almost global asset get taxed. So if you actually something has to be handed over to the next generation and you happen to be a US citizen, your global asset gets taxed at 40%. So to prevent from all that leakage, you create a structure. So these are the main 5 reasons people create a family trust: either the marital discord, or asset protection, or inheritance tax prevention, or there's a special child's need, or consolidation of the global asset.
So one of that part comes in picture. So in a trust, the inheritance also automatically comes in a play, because otherwise, if after parents, when the wealth is inherited to the child, there is a tax that the kids have to pay. If it belongs to the trust, there is no tax associated to that.
And one very important point, it is a way of preserving multi-generational wealth.
Yeah. Okay. And the trust takes insurance for the kids.
Exactly.
Right. And if anything happens to the kids, the money goes to the trust. So the trust is paying the insurance, like the John Rockefeller method.
Exactly.
Right,
so today, if you look at it, by 3 generations, one generation creates it, one enjoys, one destroys. If you want the generational wealth to pass on, create a structure and ensure you do not give access to the capital.
Absolutely.
So you enjoy the income, let the capital be protected.
Absolutely.
And that's where you create generational wealth. Right? There's a very large family in the US, just forgetting the name. in the New York City, that big.
Maybe not name anybody.
But that's a very famous trust.
I know.
If you remember, they have been there like hundreds of it.
I know whom you're talking about.
So that structure has been highly talked about. Okay, so I have done for large family in the country, very large family, and I've seen that corpus they kept it intact. Only the income of the corpus, even if you want to touch the corpus, up to 20%.
Look at how beautiful it is, right? You create a family trust, right? The family trust owns all the assets of the entire family. If the senior most family member passes away, right, the assets all still belong to the trust. For example, if the trust would not have been there, right, and the senior member passes away, all the wealth which is owned by the senior person is passed on to his legacy, and then the child, the wife, the spouse, whosoever, they will be taxed as per the statutory laws, right? Here in this method, what ma'am is recommending, right, the trust owns everything. The trust takes care, the capital is protected, your assets are protected, and then the trust will pay for the insurance. If anything happens wrong for that, the insurance money gets to the trust, and the trust keeps on running, and that's how the wealth keeps on getting multiplied.
Exactly. That's one of the beautiful vehicle to be able to preserve multi-generational wealth for your great children.
What is the time frame to create a trust?
So typically, trust is like a water. You can kind of want it the way you want it. It is based on your, the way you want to preserve the wealth. So overall time, including the consultation by a lawyer to formation of the trust, getting the PAN card of the trust and the bank account open, is about 2 months to 3 months.
And is it still under the charitable commissioner?
No, this is not a public trust, it's a private trust.
Okay.
The moment is a charitable commissioner comes into place, it becomes for public per se. This is very private trust only for your family.
Got it.
So you create a trust, you make your child and your wife as a beneficiary. You can be a trustee or you can keep a corporate trustee, and you write down what is the wishes of the trust, okay? How the distribution need to happen, who's gonna be benefited. You can even name your unborn grandchildren in the trust, okay, and create a legacy for the family. So this is a various way of creating it. There are revocable, irrevocable trust, there are discretionary trust, determinate trust. There are trust can be made through a will, which is called testamentary trust. It's a very detailed topic. We literally requires a few hours to be able to talk about
India is going to be rich, guys. And you all young generation people, you start thinking deep towards the long-term goals of your life, not just the short-term goals, what I'm going to do 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, because life is not for 5 or 10 years, right? We don't know tomorrow we would be dead or alive, but when we are thinking about succession, family and everything, we have to really think for generation, right? So act that you do now should or must impact, those good deeds should impact all of your generations. So keep those things in your mind.
And of course, I'm just asking you, is DhanXpert planning to do something for women entrepreneur in a way?
DhanXpert, I'll tell you, right? For example, this entire financial industry, the financial experts industry, the insurance experts industry, if you look at the recent trends post-COVID, so these are retail investors which are coming in. Now, from women entrepreneurship perspective, right? Women have a great logical thinking mind, right? And they can look upon you as a role model and take this as a profession. Do some great courses around finances. There are SEBI provided courses. There are AMFI provided courses, right? They can do those courses, get those appropriate certifications. There are IRDA provided courses, right? And go and span out of India, right? Cities have a lot of concentration of experts, but still it is not utilized. AMFI has how much? Close to 2.5 lakh registered advisors, but and we are still lacking. We are still lacking. Gaon Dehat mein, if you go to the tier 2, 3 cities, villages, right? Farmers do have money, but they do not know how to invest. The only thing they know is they sold their crop, they got their money, they'll put it in the cooperative bank, and tomorrow you don't know the cooperative bank if not managed well. We know what is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw what has happened with a couple of banks in the last 2-3 years, right? So that thing should not happen. Let them take this kind of a course for a year or two, get the certifications done, come forward, become an entrepreneur yourself, learn for yourself. No need to work for somebody else. You don't have to join a company, right? Be independent, like what you are and start helping out and guiding people in the right direction, right? Isn't that the great idea?
Brilliant
Right.
idea. Fantastically articulated as well. From
Yes.
seed to, next level to next level to next level.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. पैसे से पैसा बनता है. Importantly, पैसा से पैसा बनता है और सब पैसा यही रहता है. हम सब पैसा छोड़ के चले जाते हैं. Important is the relationship. That's what we create, and that's what we all work for.
Very said,
Right.
beautifully said. Yeah.
It was a pleasure having you,
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Sangeeta Roychaudhuri.
It was great conversation. I think it didn't feel like post lunch we had this conversation. You kept it very engaging, and questions are very well crafted. And thank you so much for having me in my show.
Yeah, I thought of your profile, and I just went to LinkedIn, your Facebook, and thought of drafting some good questions so that people who would watch us learn from the communication that we are.
And congratulations, the kind of platform we are building. I can see
Thank you
it's
so
going to
much.
be another big name tomorrow in India. So
We
wish
look
you all the
forward-
very best.
We look forward to your mentorship.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Pleasure having you.
Pleasure having you too. Thank you so much.
Welcome.